assuming that I've never used Drizzle, which is not the case. I've used it before and I really like what you did there. But what is your elevator pitch for Drizzle for like people that have never heard of it before?
If you know SQL, you know Drizzle. So the main problem for us is that we know how to solve all of our problems in SQL and how to write queries. We just don't want an ORM or library to just stay in front of us and dictate the rules of how we should do things and how much time should we spend on solving an issue either this day or week, where we can solve it in SQL in like 10 minutes. And now when you have ChatGPT and all other LLMs and they know SQL very well, you can solve basically anything you want with SQL and just transform it to Drizzle and write things you need in a type-safe form.
To sum it up, your idea is really easy learning curve with high type safety. Okay, cool. So in preparation for this interview, I looked through the documentation, which I think is probably the funniest documentation I've ever seen for a tech project. And I would like to talk about that in a bit too, but you market it very much as like a headless ORM.
Before I went to TypeScript, so like I started coding in Java and then I went to TypeScript. And when I went to TypeScript, I needed to choose some ORM to work with. And everyone was saying, you should use TypeORM, but don't use it because it's awful. And you will hit a lot of different abstractions that you don't want to spend your time on. And I was like, it was confusion for me because, I mean, I should use TypeORM and I should not use it because of the abstractions. And I was just forced to use it because there were no alternatives at that time. The performance also should be as close to just using the raw SQL as possible, and the library should just not slow you down with that. So the performance should be close to what you can do just sending the raw queries through some client to the database.
Whereas your approach is more like converting it in a different language, quote unquote, to hook into all the nice things that language already provides.
And just use the raw queries. But the main advantage for that is you have your schema defined in TypeScript in one place, and this is your source of truth. And then you can reuse tables in queries, you can reuse columns in queries, you can like do all of that with template tags. It may lead to a lot of errors because you will change your schema in production for sure, and you may rename something, remove something, and you may forget that in some query you use this column or like table. And with this approach of having schema in TypeScript, it is not generated. Regenerate is just a TypeScript schema that you can pass through all your queries.